as a matter of fact, that the governor statement that was credited to him erred, given the fact that if you look at the northern region, it has 19 states, while the south has 17 states, making 36. And now they are saying that they have the muscle to win the elections itself. But now joining us this morning to look at this development is Mr. Molaja Olaoye. Of course, is a political analyst and a member of the All Progressives Congress. It's great to have you back here, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, looking at this development itself, Akeredolu has said something what is not different from what some individuals have been canvassing within the political party structure. Now, let's look at the fact that we have Buhari going to spend 8 years. And now many political parties are already looking at another region, and some are saying that that shouldn't even be the case at all. Once you are a Nigerian, a bona fide Nigerian, you should have the right, whether any geopolitical zone, ethnicity or religion, wherever you're coming from, you should have the right to contest for the elections. But now Akeredolu has said strongly, do not even go to the northern region, and the northerners are saying we will produce the president because we have more states. What do we make out of this?
Yeah, that is what we have in politics right now. And Akeredolu is speaking from what the feel what people from the south are feeling at the moment. As the chairman of the Southern Governors Forum, he is entitled to that, and he must live up to his responsibility. This Buaha started from the north. The ACF, some governors, some prominent people have been saying the power is not going to be going back to the south. And when you see this, somebody must should be able to at least express himself. And Akeredolu for doing that, there is nothing wrong. That is when we are going to sit on the round table and be able to produce who we want. As the Nigerians, everybody is entitled to come out and seek for whatever I wanted to do, whether president, whether governor, anything you want to do.
But where is the place of the electorates?
The electorates that
if these northern elites, political elites, and of course the southern political elites are fighting each other, and where is the place of the electorate? We should determine where the votes should go to.
I think this starts from the electorates themselves, because a lot of them have been having doubt. You are talking about the common man on the street who wanted power to shift to their place, whether they are going to be beneficial of it or not. The tribalistic nature of Nigeria is very bogus. Let's be sincere with ourselves.
But it's more heightened now.
It is
it's heightened. It's on climax.
I never believed that. What I think this administration was doing is giving our freedom of expression, and a lot of people has been expressing themselves. The funny part is that those people who have obtained the foreign passport or the foreign residency are the ones that are causing this trouble. They knew they can be able to, escape and go to wherever they are when they made the trouble. And
so where is the place of nepotism? Now, this government has been blamed strongly for nepotism, which has actually affected every facet, obviously, of the society. Let's also talk about politics now, which is a major thing ahead of the elections, the 2023 elections itself. The belief is that some certain regions, some members of certain region are more opportune than some others. And if that happens, people begin to nurse mistrust and, of course, fears that will be shut out of the system. And that is playing out in our politics. How then do we say that this administration is immune of all of that?
This administration is not immune, but the facts still remain that a lot of people troubleshoot a lot of problems that is not there for us to find. A lot of regions are well represented in all the field of. It was when this.
So why do we have the likes of Igboho?
It is when
Igboho and
Igboho, I am sorry, Igboho behaves as if as an ignorant all the time. Because if you see his speech, the way he talks, this man is an ignorant.
You call him an ignorant person.
Yes, let be sincere with
yourself. But people from Ibarakwa would disagree with you.
People from Ibarakwa has not come out to be supporting him when he was arrested in Cotonou. And I believe this place is very close to them. Because after he has been arrested, we have not been hearing about controversy or probably any bad thing happening in Ibarakwa anymore. But when he was around, we heard about kidnapping, killing, and this and that. But since then, we have
you're saying he's the one feeling it?
I am not saying
he was talking about marginalization.
We just have to see the temple, and it's all about statistics. What happened last year? What happened this month? Whatever happened, it's about statistics, and the statistics is showing us that we have not been having any bad news from those regions. after he has been arrested. So
what about the ritual killings?
The ritual killings.
You could see how the society has degenerated. Now we are saying all of this because it still boils down to the issue of trusts and, of course, our value system. If our political system does not trust another region and, of course, do not place value on another region having to take the presidency again because of what they feel that they have witnessed in the last almost 8 years, 6 years thereabout plus. Now, isn't that what brings us to the kind of decay that we see in our society today?
It has nothing to do with that. We must know that the elites, I mean, a lot of what happened in the previous government, whereby a lot of people are siphonning money. People want to become, you see, ordinary man, common man on the street who is being affected with the corruption that was going on in the previous administration. And the government are always looking sideways when things like that happen. So when you see the society seeing some people who are oppressing them with their money, that is what is causing the decay. It is not this government. Because this...
So what about the argument of northern hegemony? You know, having more powers than every other region.
We have always been saying this. The power tussle has been always been happening since the creation of this country. I mean, when we gained our independence 1957 to 1960, it's always been by power tussle, whereby there is no region that can survive on its own. All we have just to come together for us, whether two, whether three, but a single region cannot survive. Being a president.
Do we trust ourselves to that level?
We are working it out. We are working it out. A developed nation
under like this government. Do you see that happening?
I will see that happening. I am telling you sincerely, because a lot of development has come into our political space right now. When you are
what kind of development?
Thank you very much. I mean, the power that was given to INEC, the last election that was on in that was held in Anambra State, we saw the reduce in voter, I mean, the voting power, because the rigging has been reduced to a BRS minimum. But before, you see a governor candidate win the election with less than probably about 200,000 or less than 300,000. But that's never happened in the history of Nigeria. We see 500,000, 600,000, probably 1 million. But now, for you to know that it is only the well-deserved voters that can be able to vote. When you are talking about rigging is being challenged and it's been reduced to BRS minimum in Nigeria. For you to know that.
Why do we now put the issue of resource control? Because you talked about rigging as part of the electoral process, which many people now feel that it's more technical than what you're seeing as physical before. It used to be a physical thing where people would snatch ballot boxes, but now there's a technical approach. That's the argument out there. But now let's come down to the issue of resource control. How do we also deal with that? Now, looking at what is happening in Oyo State presently, the IBEDC, which is being controlled by the central, and of course, they're using the soil of Oyo State. Now, the government is saying, you have not paid us our bills. Now, that mistrust is there. And they are also saying, you're owing us. And now the battle is going on, and they are at loggerhead. And it brings us down to the facts of politics, the kind of politics we play with virtually every sectors of the economy. How do we look at that under this government?
Under this government, everything is going right. Yes, let's talk about the Oyo State, the IBEDC, that was happening between IBEDC and Oyo State government. I think it's good for the polity. We have seen a lot of time when the so-called government of the state or local government are always abscond in their responsibility to be paying all their dues. Why? I mean, Oyo State is just lying on itself. IBEDC was the one that cut off the money being owned by the state government. How did the state government come to the issue of 400 million? It's so reckless. We have to be sincere with ourselves.
Doesn't it bring us back to devolution of power?
Devolution of power.
If they have the power.
We are talking about capitalist state. We are talking about capitalist state.
Supply.
No, we are talking about capitalist state. Whereby people are, I mean, it is a service being rendered to the state government.
Is it helping our economy?
It is now. They are going to go to court for that, and probably the town is going to be left in darkness, whether we like it or not, for those time or until something is being sought out for. But before, in this essence, I think Oyo State government helped. I am telling you, IBEDC and as independent enterprise must be able to collect its debt.
How independent are they, given the fact that we still have the federal controlling power supply?
It is not.
Doesn't it take us back to the issue of devolution of power? Let the states take responsibility for supply of electricity, for instance.
And not the one that is. They might be the one that is generating the power, but they are not the one that is collecting the bill. It has been given to the private industry to be able to company to do that. And this is what they said, that the state government, it is not only the
federal government still
it is not only your
they are still in charge of TCN.
Even the federal government are owing some people. When you go to federal secretariat, you will see that they are owing more money. And I mean, they must be able to pay for the service being rendered to them. So it's not the federal government that is controlling the IBDC. IBDC, Ikeja district or whatever, it's spread over Nigeria. And for them, I mean, with this, it is not the fault of the federal government.
So when we play politics with major aspect of our economy itself, what does it lead us to? And is it not the more reason the likes of Akeredolu is saying, let's be watchful where the presidency goes to this time around? And of course, he's sending a note of warning to many political parties to say, don't even try going to the northern region. What do you think he has seen under this government, under a northern kind of regime, if I have to use that word? What do you think Akeredolu may have seen and is calling people's attention not to go through that direction again?
I think what Akeredolu, I can feel what Akeredolu was saying, and I will support him to an extent, because we have not been having Southern Governors Forum for a very long time. And Northern Governors Forum has been established for a very long time, and they can come in unity to be able to voice their opinion and say a lot of things and support themselves as well. But now that we are having Southern governors, I think with that, it is going to be able to checkmate the power of ACF or the power of Northern governors, who has always been in control for a very long time.
But I don't know where the problems emanated from. When you have all of this forum, different at different level, partitioned and factionalized. You have the northern, you have the southern, then you still have the NGM. Is that not where the problem started from? Saying they don't have a quorum as to discussing their issues.
But this problem is inevitable. We must have it before we can solve all the problems. Because when you see a section having a kind of power on the kind of forum, I mean, that's what I'm saying. The challenge of Northern Governors Forum is now the creation of Southern Governors Forum. And the creation of Southern Governors Forum starts from the issue of probably the X-Men or Fulani, when you are talking about all these Fulani, what's it called? Cattle rearing. That is why that is why it emancipated from. And for now, for us to have had Southern Governors Forum, let them check each other. And with time, there is going to be equilibrium balance of power shifting.
You know, when you talk about that, why shouldn't the northern region, for instance, think that, okay, we've been there for close to 8 years, obviously Buhari would finish and, of course, hand over to the next government. Why shouldn't they, in a way, to say, we are not even wanting it to come to the region? Please go to other regions because we produced in the last 8 years. Why are they not thinking in that light?
Because
they are saying that under the Constitution,
I believe many powerful elements in the north are thinking this way. But you must not, you must not forget that there are some people who have that ambition in the north that are going to be a devil's advocate for the power to combat them, because they have an ambition and there is nothing wrong in that ambition. I think that is what Akeredolu saw that made him made this statement. And when he was making this statement, he was making it probably about Middle Belt Forum. And when you are talking about the Middle Belt as well, they are very close to the north, and still they want the power to shift to a certain region. I think it has to do with that, because in any region there is no entire unity. It is all of them are looking for power. There is always going to be power.
I think you said that we should look towards south, southwest, southeast. That should be the areas that political parties should concentrate on. And now, if that has been sold to the political parties, at what stage does the electorate come in here?
The electorate can choose whatever they want, because the power to choose, we all see what happened during the NRC and SDP. Despite the fact that SDP fielded somebody from the southern region, and the north fielded somebody from the north. You can see when people are so tired, it has nothing to do with whether you are in South, whether you are in North, wherever you are, even if you are in heaven, when people want something, it's going to happen. And a lot of people voted en masse for Abiola, MQ Abiola, despite the fact that he is from the North, he is from the South, and even he fielded a Muslim ticket.
Can that ever happen now?
It is,
from what we've been seeing.
I am just saying something that we thought is impossible, because it was during this time that we realized that we need to have Christian and Muslim coming to have a ticket. And when they see that we are talking about the people that is popular, the field, the Muslim ticket, and the election was won overwhelmingly.
All right, let me just let our viewers know that you also have the opportunity to contribute on the program this morning. The numbers will be right on your screen. And do remember, once you're calling into the program, you have to turn down the audio level of your TV set or move away from your TV set so that we can get your contributions this morning on the program. All right, still we have Mr. Molaje here. Yes, still looking at this particular issue, it has been a major point of discussion at different fora as to how much more we can shut out the northern region, given the fact that the Constitution has not explicitly said that certain region must not be part of the process. Let's also look at the amendment of the Electoral Act. Already there are insinuations that some people are lobbying that Electoral Act should not be passed or assented to by the president. When we have all of these dramas playing up, how then do we address all of our problems ahead of the elections?
In the Constitution, Akeredolu expressed himself.
Okay, let's take this one. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, please. What's the name and where are you calling us from?
My name is Dandiston and I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
Please go ahead.
Okay. We're doing a good program this morning. This topic is a very vital one. But my thing is, it's high time we as Nigerians come together and tell ourselves the truth. We're practicing democracy, but it is not enough for us to practice it the way the Western world practices it. It's high time we sit down, take a look at our constitution, and if the issue of zoning is going to be what will make Nigeria one and peaceful and progress, let it be stipulated in the constitution. Let there be an amendment to the 1999 constitution to make provision for zoning on how is going to look like. So at every point in time, every Nigerian knows where the next president is coming from. Believe me, I have good heads everywhere that can take Nigeria to the next level. But so if it is zoned to the north or to the south, middle belt, people there that can come out, contest for this presidency or whatever, and take Nigeria to the next level. Secondly, concerning the Electoral Act, let's call it spade a spade. So, it is a move for everywhere to where we want to be, but it is not where we want to be actually. Considering if you're taking a look at that bill, a lot of things were struck off because political elite were comfortable with it. We are still having issues of political party and primaries, because issues around their primaries and who is going to be this and who is going to be that, because they know if they have allowed direct primaries, they will not have sway over who becomes the flag bearer of their party. And these political bigwigs have sat on top of this bill, made the president not to sign that bill, giving flimsy excuses as it's going to be too expensive. Is it more expensive than the medical trips he takes abroad? Is it more expensive than the cars they are driving on their convoy? Do they even need such cars? Even just an House of Assembly member moving with a convoy, is it more expensive than that? Left from me, Dandiston, it is high time we reduce the number of public office holders in Nigeria. Let that be in the Cameral legislation. Bring in traditional rulers as temporary legislators to act on behalf of their people. This should be the Senate. The House of Reps should do the parliamentary work, and let each traditional ruler from each state nominate somebody. There will be a traditional ruler presenting the state, and at that point we see that the feel of the people, the heart of the people, Nigerians will become one because they know that their fathers are there that are representing them. You know, traditional education as their father, not this be like.
All right. Thank you so much for your contributions there. He has gone through some length and breadth of some of the areas that you earlier touched and some that we didn't even touch. Now, he talked about the instances of zoning and, of course, that let the arrangements be there. We know that in some political parties, like PDP, for instance, had that idea sometime. Now, can that be brought into our law itself? Is that going to be visible with what we have?
It's not healthy. It's not healthy.
It's not healthy.
Yeah, and it's not we intended with what is being practiced in other developed world. Yeah, and it's going to cause a lot of problems when we have that. Our democracy is still young, and that is how we have. That is why we are feeling this vibe. As I mean, President.
So do we keep copying what is not obtainable for us in Nigeria? Like we keep lifting from the outside country, like he was talking about. Why don't we deal with our peculiarities? We have the issue of religion. We have aspect of geopolitical zones. And for example, zoning has always, in a way, will go to certain regions will participate. And once they have tasted what appears or have a shot of the past system, they also allow it go to another region.
But there's going to be a lot of selfishness when it's come to that. If a president become a president become from probably the southwest, become a president right now, he's going to make sure that everything he does in Nigeria is going to be concentrated on southwest. If it's going to be the turn of the north is going to do the same for there. So he's not going to. But now, a lot, you will see that even
without the arrangement, isn't that happening?
This arrangement right now is not happening. They are trying as much as possible to carry that region along.
Okay, let's pick this. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning, please.
It's Alex from Demora.
Okay, please go ahead.
Okay, now that northern people insist that power remain in the north, are they going to accept the northern Christian as the president? To fill the gap. So that between the Muslim and the Christian, nobody will feel relaxed. This is the
All right, I guess we could pick one or two things from what he said, that if the northern region are insisting that power should remain in the north, then what happens?
The northern region are not demanding for that power itself, but there are some people who are canvassing for it because they have ambition, and there is nothing wrong in having that ambition. They must be able to express themselves. So that is why Akeredolu has to be a devil advocate for saying it as well, and we love it. It's going to bring a balance to the system.
Yeah, but if there's an arrangement on ground, wouldn't this be dealt with without an Akeredolu saying it?
And it is not intended with what is happening, because we must have. That is why in this constitution it said you can vote and be voted for. Once you have that, and if you have a citizen of a country, if you can have that, that shows. What's it called? What is being entrenched in United Nations Constitution? The right of association.
And so what is tenable now? Is it the kind of federal structure that we operate upon?
We see people expressing themselves.
How? To what extent?
No.
Do you know how many people are invited by the DSS?
Akeredolu is a Nigerian.
For actually saying certain things.
Yes, he has an immunity. And what he's saying is not about the visit. It was just saying that at least they should give them some bite of the pie. And it's not wrong. So you see others who are expressing themselves in a violent way. And they have never been. The funny part of it is that they are doing it outside the country in order to cause problem and killing.
All right, let's see if we have a caller here. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, please.
It's me, Dandison from Port Harcourt.
Okay, please go ahead.
Yes, your guest on the street, yes, is very good, but let's say what brought Nigeria to where we are this copy and paste formula we have. Copy and paste formula. We go to the West, copy the educational system, and come and just dump it in Nigeria and see what we get. We go to the West, copy their culture, and come and dump it in Nigeria. A lot of children cannot even speak their languages. We go to the West, copy their democracy and dump it in Nigeria without making any form of adjustment to it. And this is what it brought us to. Let me tell you something. I can take you to more employees where they've never seen a car before. And they've never seen anyone. So I know what I'm talking about. I can take you to more than 10 companies where they've not seen pipe-borne water before. Here in Nigeria, and you call that democracy? I can take you to a country where till today you can have number of cement houses, the rest are block and thatch. You won't see that, but these are communities people live in, and they don't even know they have a government. They don't even know they've not even participated in elections before. And I was surprised to meet such communities. And your guests will sit there and say, if we sit down as a country and say, look, this democracy we took from the West is not working for us. How can we modify it to work in the Nigerian how can we modify it to work for us as Nigerians? It is not cast in stone that you must copy. Believe you me, okay, take a look at the United States history or the British. They practiced different types of governance before they settled on democracy, what they have today, because it is working for them. But you can distinguish democracy in England from that in the US. You can distinguish, you can count differences. So in other climes, why must Nigeria be a copy and paste? It is high time, and I still say it and I still stand it. I stand wherever I go. We take a look at our constitution, bring it down, bring down all the issues that we are facing as Nigerians, and modify our constitutions to settle our differences. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for calling back. That's Danielson from Port Harcourt. Now, let's look at the fact that he said this, and that brings us back to the issue of the Sovereign National Conference. Do we go back there?
Oh, we don't
can we have to, because he said that this constitution appears to be alien to some of the problems we have in the country. Then he also mentioned the fact that we've adopted the lifestyle of the Western world to the extent that even our indigenous language has a threat of extinction. Now, if that happens, do we go back to that Sovereign National Conference where we debate?
We don't need that. We have debated, and we have chance to be debating right now. Like what Mr. Daniel
said. So Buhari aired for not actually looking at the confab results.
Let's be sincere with ourselves. When you are talking about developed world, they just don't have the Republican. There are a lot of blood that was spilled before they had the Republican government. You are talking about the democracy. And the democracy, I mean, a nation that colonized us, Britain, who have been colonized by a monarchy before. And do you know what happened in France? How many the so-called elite were killed? How many, the so-called the king and queen were killed before they can have this Republican? So,
all right, let's take this, Mr. Malaja. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, please. What's the name and where are you calling us from?
My name is Mark Adiola from FCC.
Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we hope to have that caller back.
The Royal Empire has a lot of challenge in their government before they search for something. It is for the developed world to arrive at this sort of democracy is not cheap.
All right, hello, good morning. Yes, good morning. What's the name and where are you calling us from?
My name is I'm calling from Porto.
Please go ahead.
Are you with me?
Yes. Yes.
The issue of the presidential rotation. For equity and justice, the Southerners are advocating for equity. We should understand that key which is what justice. The Southerners are advocating that the next president should come back from the Southerners. Now, if we want equity, we want justice, from the party, we have marginalized the Southeast. So I am advocating that if Southerners are advocating for justice, they should allow presidents to go to Southeast. That is pure justice. Looking at the right of culture, He had already established free education school in 1930 in Nigeria. Who has done that? Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for your contribution. Now, he brought about the issue of marginalization of the process itself. And of course, still talking about the instances of the rotational system that we earlier talked about. Now, earlier caller said something around copying and paste. And now he talked about the peculiarities of our problems in Nigeria. And of course, you are trying to narrate what the Great Britain did, and of course the United States. Can we begin to compare ourselves to some of these nations? And why do we have to adopt their style? It is not working for us.
When you are talking about copy and paste, people think it's cheap. Do you know how many millions of lives that was lost before the adoption of Republican, the democracy we are talking about? It is not cheap. Even in Roman Empire, it was being governed by the so-called the warlords before they will have this Senate, and they are going to be able to debate how it's going to be done. Now, we are talking about the monarchical system of government, and the monarchical system of government bring about oppression, whereby few elite are going to be oppressing people. That is why we have the democracy was being extended. And even in Nigeria before, with our unwritten constitution.
All right, let's see if we can make it through with this caller. Hello, good morning.
It's still Danderson.
Okay, please go ahead.
Our guest, please educate us in a different light. When you talk about comparing, saying it did not come cheap, what is cheap in Nigeria? Will you compare the number of lives we lose every day practicing this copy and paste democracy to the number of lives that were lost then? It was the elites that were killed then because they were not doing the proper thing. But now it's the masses that are suffering. It's the masses that are being killed every day by Boko Haram, by men, by militants, by kidnappers. Why just say? There's no ground for comparison. Look, let's bring it to the family setting. When you go outside as a married man or a married woman and copy another person's family, the way they live family and bring it to your family, to know what? There'll be issues. You need to do some modifications. That is where I stand. We need to start thinking like Nigerians, not like the white. They modified their system of government to suit their lifestyle, which was not our lifestyle as Africans or as Nigerians or as me. That is, it wasn't my lifestyle as an German. I have peculiarities. And let me tell you something. The Sovereign National Conference that was done by Goodluck Jonathan, if you take a look, they did look at it's in the right direction, it won't lead us to where we want to be, but it's something we can take a look at, because that's also how Nigerians feel. In the document, you see that the Northerners had to let some things go. The Southerners had to let some things go for peace to reign. They have to. Things on the lifestyle they will not release. They have to let them go. Okay, you give us this. That is what governors should be. It should be about negotiation, not something that you know right now in the system. You like it or not, if you're going to conduct an election today, a free fair election, and you say a candidate is from the north and one candidate is from the south, the northern candidate will win because they have the population, they have the voting strength more than the south. But if that constitution is taking a look, our constitution is taking a look at and modified to suit our problems, that issue will not be there. The Northern will know that you have gone for 8 years. Now is the time for the middle belt. After 8 years of the middle belt, whether you like it or not, like I was saying, there will be every concentration of developmental infrastructures in the zone where the presidency is. Is that not what we are seeing today? Our president, what did he say during one of his interviews? He said he cannot, how can he give to 98% to somebody that did not vote for him and leave the 98% that voted for him? Say no. He said it point blank. And that's the president you have that has been saying that, and he has been showing that to you. So what are we saying? My dear, let us move. It is time. Moreover, the constitution we are using is a decree by the military that was given to us. Let us Nigeria down
and give ourselves a
All right,
constitution.
thank you so much for calling back into the program. Now, it appears that he said so many things around the national...
I like his passion. But we are talking about, he's talking about copy and paste. I mean, we all have role model, whether we like it or not. We just don't grow up in a day. We are going to be looking at somebody before we can be able to grow and see the way he moves, what he says.
Well, he talked about our peculiarities.
Now, when you are talking about the peculiarity of the North, then, before the colonial master came, it was about Emir, who has the authority, is authoritarian to do anything. We are talking about the East that hasn't got any government. They don't have any head. The Ozos are just the rich people who has power more than any other person. It is the colonial master that brought them the Eze or whatever they are calling themselves. It is only the Southwest with the power of the king that can do anything. And we saw.
He also took us down memory lane that the conflict of 2014, it might not actually solve all the problems, but it could be a light in the right direction.
I don't think we need that comfort. I don't think we need that comfort. I don't think the comfort are just meant for some people who went to go and eat the cake, the national cake.
So we should continue under this constitution.
We have the law. We have the law. Even the law.
Are they reflective of what we are supposed to have?
It is reflective. It is challenging in the law court. Despite the fact that we have seen the corruption in the law court, in the judicial system, still it can still be challenged.
But it's being tagged as a decree.
Our question are not decree. It is just an imagination. It is not decree. We are talking about Britain that has been existing without written constitution.
Let's take this call. Hello, good morning. Good morning, please.
Yeah, good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. What's the name and where are you calling us from?
Well, I'm calling you from Borno State. If I see some comments made by some of our leaders are not good, especially the one on the screen now, I told you to make a comment about the president comment by the next year. He's not in love with that. I think what has happening for the past how many years, about 20 years now, is between North and the Southwest Valley. Jonathan carrying the boy by accident was a wife to Yaradua, and it was because of the state of Yaradua that he became our president. Otherwise, the whole issue of president has been between the Yorubas and the Fulanis, and nobody has complained. When you put this president, I don't know whether I was and I destroyed the use of educated vote for themselves. Don't know who are the houses and the Fulanis. Many people are saying that they're not Fulanis, but who are the everything that doesn't happen, we don't complain. What someone got from me, a little bit, to precise. What someone wants is good leadership. I don't care who wants to talk. If you call you will discover that this story that our colonial masters are at the time. This by our control, who are in the years have collapsed. So I really have collapsed 3 people. And the colonial people went to New York for that. They did good things for us. We are here, we politics with our lives. We don't get when it hits in Europe, or should be people of the culture, sorry, no. What are we going to do for that? I don't care where anyone goes today.
All right, we must say thank you so much for your contributions. We have to wrap up these discussions, but now we've picked 1 or 2 things from Nigerians, and of course, they've said something very critical. We must understand ourselves, and of course, we must be able to have a system where if you benefit, allow another region also benefit. That's the way we can have quarter peace in the country itself. Now, what is the way forward out of all of this?
The way forward is that we must, for the tenet of the democracy to be well, instilled in the system, we must follow it. It's government of the people.
So we should ignore confab. We should continue with the 1999 constitution.
It is amendable. That is why a lot of amending is being done. We are talking about the issue of independent of the local government that the governor doesn't want to allow. The same governors for where Akeredolu are holding forth for. They don't want the local government to work the way it should be able to be working. With that, when we have a good democracy, we have the local government who are working the way it should do, it should be done. I mean, we are not going to have any problem. It is us that are killing the democracy because of our selfish means. We want to perpetrate ourselves in the power by being the governor for 8 years, being the senator for probably 20, 30 years. We want to be president again, just only single person. And we are going to make sure that our people if they allow the democracy to work the way it should work. I mean, the so-called governors.
If the governors now are the problems.
They are the problems. They are the ones that are challenging President Muhammadu Buhari not to sign the so-called direct primary. We all knew. If they allow democracy to be thriving, we are not going to be having the issue of probably you are from the north, probably you are from the south, probably you are Muslim or Christian. People will be able to vote for who they want at the point in time. If they are not killing or, strangling the democracy, they are the cause of the problem. They must be nipped in the bud. We must know the way we can be able to push them out. We don't need this governors forum all the time.
All right, we just have to go on this particular topic. We must say a big thank you to Mr. Molaja Olaoye for your time on the program this morning.
Thank you.
And of course to all our callers on this very topic. We also say thank you so much. We can't pick additional calls. All right, to take this break, and when we come back, we have another guest and another topic. Please stay with us.